My name is Michelle. I'm a personal trainer and a yoga teacher in the Boston area. Today's video is going to take us back to the basics and really perfecting our squats, our lunge, and a little bit of plank as well. This is a great way to warm yourself up and really get you connected with how your body needs to properly move. As you can see, you'll need a broomstick. So I just kind of twisted this right off the bottom of my broom, and we'll set that down. Optional here to have a chair, especially if your range of movement is limited. Say you have issues with your knees and you don't want to go too low. And we'll go ahead, we'll get started just kind of warming up the body. We're going to come to a nice low squat, so let your feet come a little bit wider. Bend your knees and bring your fingertips down to the floor. All right, and you're going to wiggle around here. So we're always working within our range of movements. Everybody's squat is going to look different. Right? So some of you, your heels may easily come to the floor, maybe not at all. Maybe your hips are a bit higher up here, right? You do you. As long as you're getting that sensation, you're feeling the hips start to open, keep reaching the knees out towards the sides as you let your hips sink down towards the floor. And just wiggle around a little bit more. This can feel pretty tight. All right, let's take it a little bit higher. You're going to take your hips a little bit higher, let your fingertips come to the floor. Kind of like that football player, you want to have that long, flat back. And then as you exhale, you're going to fold forward. You're going to start to straighten your legs as best as you can as you release your head down towards the ground. Then inhale, bend your knees, sink your hips back into that squat. Lift your gaze forward and exhale, tipping into that forward fold, getting a nice stretch along the back of the legs. 2 more times. Inhale as you come to that flat back, get light on your fingertips. And then exhale, fold. Keep your heels grounded as you release your head. Great. Last one. We'll come up, we'll bend the knees, lift our gaze forward. Press through the heels. Let's take those hands up to the knees and we do some pelvic tilts here. So as you take your hands to your knees, you're just going to focus on your hips and your pelvis. Tucking your pelvis, tucking your tail, and then tilting your tailbone back behind you. So starting to get that nice movement right along the creases of your hips. And I want you to notice, how this feels for you. For some of you, as you do this, you might notice that tucking of the tail is more easy or accessible, or maybe it's much easier for you to tilt and sway in the back, right? Because every body is different. Our hips have different ways of moving, our spine. It's really going to be paying attention to all the details in this video. This is a great way to, like I said earlier, really warm up. Last one. You can tuck the tail, roll the spine up, coming to standing. Now you'll go ahead and grab your broomstick. Grabbing your broomstick, take it nice and wide, right all the way to the edge. Bring the broomstick up overhead. You want to stay nice and grounded through your feet, a little bend in the knees, keeping long through the spine, crown of the head, reaching up, and then you'll let the bar come back behind you. Maybe lower to just behind your shoulders, just behind the head, and then come back up and all the way back in front. So we'll do this a couple more times. You lift that bar up. It starts to drift back behind you. You explore where you find that edge. All right. And then bring it back in front. So this is called flossing the shoulders. So for some of you, just kind of getting that bar back behind you, it's going to be really tight. Again, work within your range of motion or movement. And others might have more openness in their shoulders. Sometimes this has to do with being really tight in the pectoral muscles, right? So I'm just taking a few passes here, right? If you're tight in the shoulders, most of us are, just take your time. All right, last one. We're going to finish with that bar right in front of your shoulders. All right, now we're going to take the bar over towards your right. Bend the elbows to bring the bar behind your head, and then push it over that left shoulder. So we're going to do this rotation over to the right, bring it back behind you, and push it around. So you can feel those shoulders open. You might have some places that are tight and rigid. Let's do one more in this direction. We're doing about 5 or 6 in one direction, and then we're going to reverse it. So let's take it back in front of us, and then we're going to go over to the left, bring it back behind your head, push it over to the right. This takes a little bit of that mind-body focus to get that rhythm, especially when we do the second side. Great, let's do one more. Great, and then we'll bring that bar back in front of us. All right, now we're going to work into squats. And you know, if squats are easy for you, you might not need the chair, but if your range of movement is limited, if you have knee issues, and this is just a great way to kind of test yourself at home, you know, because sometimes it can be good to be in front of a mirror, but really to think of this squat, those chairs there to help you to get your hips back. So arms are going to be up overhead, because part of a good squat is keeping the chest up, getting the hips back, and the knees over the heels, right? So feet again a little wider than hips width apart, toes very slightly turning out. Really ground down through your heel, and now sit your hips back. Again, imagine you're sitting onto that chair. So then sometimes that chair is there just to kind of guide you to get your hips back. Check to make sure your knees are stacked over your heels, and then press up. Squeeze your glutes. So you could come back here, you could even rest your butt momentarily just to feel, to check your knees, and then pull your ribs in, pull your belly in, feel that core work, and then press up, squeezing your glutes. All right, once you start to get that range of movement, you can start to move a little bit more with the breath, exhaling as you come down, or inhaling as you come down, and exhaling as you come up, squeezing your glutes. So with that bar up over my head, I want you to really pull the bar, like as if you're going to pull it in half. Right? You're going to feel the shoulders start to activate, but this is also reminding you to keep your chest up. Now notice if you have that tendency to flare your ribs. This is my tendency here to do this. I don't want to do that. That bar is way too far behind me. I want to keep it over my head. I want to keep my ribs locked in. My belly pulling back towards my spine so that I stay nice and strong in my core. Others of you might be fighting it from this direction, right? You might be rounding here and rounding in your back. So keep that bar up over your head. Keep going just 3 more times. On the last one, we're going to hold it here. Try not to sit on the chair. If you've got one, step forward a little bit. And again, check down through your heels. Press down through the outer edge of your foot. The pinky edge of your foot presses down to the floor. You'll feel your outer legs flat, really heating up. Press through the big toe mound, press down. Lift up through the navel, and then we'll press all the way back up to standing and release your arms down. All right, nice work. I'm going to move that chair out of the way. And we're going to get to our lunges next. All right, so we're thinking about the spine, and this broomstick is going to help us keep our spine in alignment. So you're going to take the bar behind your back, and you can put your right hand on top, right above your head, and then your left hand is right in that small of your back, the lumbar spine, that little gap right there. And so your goal here is to keep the back of your head between your shoulder blades and the tailbone connected to the bar at all times. So if the head moves away, right, then you're not in alignment here, right? This is about that spinal alignment or that connective chain, right? Our spine. All right, so we're going to start with the right foot stepping back, coming into a split lunge. Now, when this split lunge, you want to make sure your feet are hip width apart, so you're not on a tight rope. You want to have your right foot hip width from your left foot. Left knee is right over the heel, and then that right knee, we're going to bend that right knee down towards the floor. It doesn't have to touch. Again, stay within your range of motion. All right, and then as you come forward, notice if you have a tendency to shift forward like this. If you do that, you might feel the bar coming off your back. Nice. So when you do this, I want you to really feel your hips squeezing in towards one another. This keeps your chest lifted. See if you can keep the elbows reaching out towards the side of the room. We got 3 more here, doing about 10 here. Whew. When you're doing it right, you can feel that full effect. All right, let's get ready for the second side. So we're going to switch the arm, bringing the opposite arm on top. So the left arm is up, right arm behind. Now find that back of the head between the shoulder blades and the tailbone connecting. Step that left foot back, right knee over ankle, and make sure you're right on the ball of your left foot. When you're ready, we're going to lower and lift. All right, might feel a little tipsy at first. Your body might be trying to do things the way that it did before, right? But you can really start to feel where is your alignment in your spine. Where's your crown of your head up, shoulders up, chest up. Make sure that core is tight. 2 more. Woo. Get a little wiggly myself. Last one. Come all the way back up. All right, nice work. All right, so we're going to do that one more round. Each time, again, this is a great warm-up. Bring that bar up overhead. Feet a little wider than hips width apart. Toes slightly turning out. Hips move back and down. You're trying to get the hips to about as low as the knees. You don't have to go any lower than that. Remember, the core is tight. We're going to do about 20 here. Press down through the pinky toe, through the big toe. Really ground down as you push up. Keep the chest nice and lifted without letting the ribs flare out. Now let's talk about tucking those ribs down, in and down. That's so that we don't have this flaring happening, right? We want to keep it out in front, keep that core tight. Nice. 3 more. Great. Last one, and last one, we're going to go in for the hold. Hold it there. Isolate the muscle. See how low can you go. Keep the chest up. Keep the core in tight. Pull the belly to the spine. Holding it here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand up. Release that bar down. Okay, so right arm overhead. We're getting ready for our split lunge. Right arm is right over the head. Left hand right behind your back. So those elbows are pointing towards the side walls. Feel the head, shoulders, and hips connect. Step your right foot back. And then we'll lower. We're doing 10 here. This one. Think of squeezing that right glute, that right booty cheek, right? Squeeze it in as you pull that left hip back and down. Creating stable hips. Let's do 3 more. Woo. Last one. Let's step it up. Second side. Switch the arms. Left arm up. Left leg back. Find your balance. Let's make 10 here. Keep that chest up. Feel if the body wants to drift. Don't let it drift. Stay in line. That's your connective chain. Keep the elbows pointing out. Keep the core locked in nice and tight. Squeeze that left glute in. Right hip moves back and in. Last two. Last one. Step it up. Nice work. Whew, so that's some fun with this here. All right. Do just a little bit more to warm up the upper body. Again, to get you ready for your workout. This is also going to get right into the core because we're always working the core. I always like to say we're always working the core. All right, take a deep inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold, hinging at your hips, reach your fingers to the floor, and then slowly walk. Nice slow walk out to a plank position. Find your plank, pull your belly in, push the floor away. Stay light on those toes, and then slowly walk your hands back. All the way back, nice and slow. Slowly reach those arms up. And come back down. Try not to let the hips or the shoulders rock here. Keep it nice and long. Now imagine you've got a pole balancing across your back. Nice. We're going to hold it here and do some shoulder taps. So reaching for your right shoulder, then your left. All right, if this bothers your wrist, if this doesn't work good for you, you can always come to a forearm plank and just hold it for the duration. Isolated. Recommend one of those at least every day. Tapping that shoulder. Try not to let the hips and the shoulders rock. Press down through the feet. You can really feel the abdominal muscles squeezing right and left as you reach your hand. Tapping right shoulder, tapping left shoulder. We're almost there. Last 3, 2, and 1. Let's reach your hips up and back towards a downward facing dog. And take a moment in this down dog. Again, connect with your spine, the alignment of your spine. You want that long spine, deep crease in hips. So bend those knees slightly and just start to pedal the heel right and left. All right, take one more deep breath in. Slow exhale, lower your knees down. Stretch your hips back towards a child's pose. Actively reach your fingertips towards the front of your mat. As you send your hips back and down, let your head fall down to the floor. Walk your hands over towards the right. Reach for your left hand on top of your right. You can interlace the fingers. Keep sinking your hips back and down. Feel that nice stretch through the left side body. Take some deep breaths. Feel the ribs, the lungs expanding as you inhale. We'll take it to the other side, walking your hands slowly over towards the left. You take your right hand on top of the right, interlacing the fingers. That allows you to give a little bit more of a grip so that you can pull and then send the hips back and down. Thinking of pulling the left hip back. Feel that nice opening through the right sides. Again, take a deep breath in, slow breath out. Nice work. Let's take those hands back to the center. All right. So again, taking you through some of those basics. I hope you enjoy that. Please send me a comment if you have any questions. I'm always